This was one of the most controversial broadcasts of the 1968 season. It drew awards and protests in equal measure. Here is its key scene.
What is your nationality?
My nationality is Afro-American.
What is freedom?
Freedom is black power.
What is black power?
Black power is...
Do you know what black power is?
No.
Well, then you should never make any statements if you don't know what they mean.
I'm sorry, I don't know.
All right. How old are you, young man?
I am 4 years old.
You're not 4, Eric. Now you tell me your right age. How old are you? How old are you?
I am 4 years old.
Are you sure you're 4?
Yes.
You're gonna let me turn you around and tell you you're some other age? You're 6 years old, Eric.
No.
I can't hear you, Eric.
No.
Are you being frightened by me?
No.
I'm the teacher. I said you're 6.
I am 4 years old.
All right, then. You stand up for it, then. You shouldn't be weak. You stand up and say it. You ought to scream it in my face if I try to tell you different, right?
Yes.
Have a seat. Stand up, young man. Are you a Negro, Travis?
No.
Are you a flunky, Travis?
No.
What are you?
I am black and beautiful.
And what else are you? Are you a boy?
No.
What are you?
I'm a man.
What kind of man?
Black and beautiful man.
Or what kind? Are you an old man or a young man?
Young man.
You, young man, you come here. You're a Negro.
No.
I am your teacher. You are a Negro.
No.
Suppose I threatened to beat you, what would you say? Aren't you a Negro now?
No.
What are you?
I'm black and beautiful.
What is your nationality?
My nationality is Afro-American.
Suppose I had some money in my pocket. Suppose I gave you $1 to say that you're an American Negro. This is money now. Money talks. Money talks. This dollar. And if you don't say it, you don't get it. You're an American Negro, aren't you?
No.
You won't have any money. You know you need money, don't you?
Yeah.
You need money to live, don't you?
Yeah.
All right. All you have to say, Leon, is that you're an American Negro. Aren't you an American Negro? Are you an American Negro?
No.
What are you?
I'm black and beautiful.
What's your nationality?
My nationality is Afro-American.
Very good, man. Keep it up. Go sit down. You had to think about that a minute, didn't you?
Yeah.
All right. All right, everybody. What is your nationality?
My nationality.
What is good, my people? We are live back again with another live broadcast on the forecast. What's going on, Cassidra? How you doing?
What is going on today, forecast? How are you?
I'm good. I'm good. How you doing today? You are everything good with you?
I'm good. Everything is good. Always.
That's what's up. That's what's up. Yeah, so Cassidra, today I wanted to talk about something that I see that is happening even in my family, you know what I'm saying? And that's and like we always talking about generational stuff, you know what I'm saying, breaking generational curses, you know what I'm saying? We look at it on all sides of the thing, you know what I'm saying? I hope you don't mind first though, Cassidra. You know how I be doing. I be always taking a detour, but I haven't been on here, and I know a lot of people sent me this, and they, so I wanted to play this. Let me see. I don't know if you saw this one. Consider what a family, they had to save their own people.
Oh yeah, I saw that. That was the saddest thing. But this is why we tell Black people, stop donating your organs. I don't give a damn. Take them with you.
All right.
Take them with you. You ain't getting nothing. Yeah, I see. It was the saddest thing ever. And what happened? The young man was like helping another somebody was on the side of the road. He got out his car to help them and got hit. That's the craziest thing ever. He was switching schools. It's so sad. It's sad, but I seen it, but it's so sad. So sad. But go ahead.
Yeah, that's crazy, you know. And I know a lot of people send it to me, so you know, I'm like,
Yeah.
Yes, I won't receive what they say. Don't you hear that? Don't you? I don't care. That was the same thing that they do every day. We know because we in here resuscitating. We doing what the hell you supposed to be doing. They're trying to. We're in the process. Hey, put your recorder on. Of trying to transport him to Houston. When they come to that door, record it. Put your recorder on. Put your recorder on. They come in and if they come in, we don't want them in here. If they come to the door, you got your recorder on. Anybody that comes to the door. Anybody that come to that door. You gotta go. I understand. But okay, I'll have her record if you got to go. I'm not playing.
Yeah, I mean, I don't need to play no more though, you know, because that's just crazy right there. You know what I'm saying? Like, you gotta do that with your revive your own pain, and we like don't even understand what the problem is because we so worried about it, like stupid stuff until it hit home, and then we like, oh, we need justice. We need justice. No, it's too late now. Like, don't be asking for no justice now. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
Like,
Exactly. But guess what? Instead of Black folk putting their money towards a wellness center, a birthing center, so that we can come away from them, we just gave Kamala Harris how much? How many millions? Black men and women gave her millions of dollars that could have went into our own community, into our own wellness centers, into our own trauma centers, into our own birthing centers. Instead of us depending on them, why not create your own? But we won't do that. We want to stick under them and continue to complain about what they're not doing for you. But they don't owe you nothing. They don't owe you nothing. They take care of theirs, and it's up to us to take care of ours. And we won't do it because we are waiting for them to do it for us. But they're not going to. And they're happy that you're waiting for them because they're never going to do it. And they know they're never going to do it. But they know you'll never get ahead because you're waiting for them to do for you. But I rest my mic.
You know, waiting and like dying is crazy because like, yo, we so sick in the head and it don't even make sense. It's not even like funny at this point, you know what I'm saying? But this is why we talk about generational stuff, because at some point it's gonna have to stop. Like I'm at the point where it's like, yo, maybe we should be. Nah, I'm not gonna say that. Let's talk about, before we talk about it, I want to show you I guess a good thing about a mother, a Black mother. This mother here, I think she took care of over like 80 people, 80 children, or I'm not sure how many, but she's 88 years old. I know. So we're gonna say something positive about Black motherhood first, because this is not one of those things where people just say this stuff just to try to bash because they like weak as hell themselves, you know. But anyway.
Now to a heartwarming story out of Montgomery County. Miss Emma Patterson of Maryland is being recognized by the county for fostering children for nearly 3 decades now. And today, Montgomery County Executive Mark Elrich presented her with an award. Our Christian Pena spoke to her about that honor.
Ms. Patterson is retiring after 33 years in the foster care system as a parent. And though she is retiring, she continues to play a huge role in the lives of many.
County Executive Mark Elrich presenting an award to Ms. Emma Patterson for her fostering efforts. She's a mother to over 30 children, but to Michael Brown,
okay, 30.
Nana. My Nana has been influential in my life. She has given me a foundation. She has shown me what a family structure is like, to have respect, responsibility, and become a better man.
Ms. Patterson fostered Brown twice, raising him until he was old enough to leave the foster care system. Her biggest joy, she says, is seeing her children succeed.
Well, I didn't have a recipe. Nobody told me what to do or how to do it. You just kind of follow your heart and just do what you think the children need.
To Ms. Patterson, the men often relying on personal savings to feed her foster children and guiding them emotionally to see them climb the mountain to success.
Wow, that is awesome.
These young people have made these wonderful achievements, and they are having such wonderful lives, and you know that you can't ask for anything more than that.
But according to Sophie Hodge from Montgomery County Child Welfare System, the county is in dire need of more foster parents.
It's not an easy thing to do to be a foster parent or resource parent, but it is life-changing.
So life-changing, Ms. Patterson's children are forever grateful for her support.
If I can give it a whirl, I would give it a whirl right now.
And a true change maker she is. For more information on how to become a foster parent, give us a visit at dcnewsnow.com.
Yeah, so yo, shouts out to this woman.
Yes,
who-
finally a good one. Jesus. Ooh, we
Mhm.
hear horror stories in that foster care system. But thank God that she was, one that did the right thing by our children. So many other folk just don't. So
Yeah.
many of them. But I'm grateful that she, got in there and did what she need to do. That's the best thing ever.
Yeah.
It's really good.
Yeah, and there's like so many out here, and
Yes.
I know I'm not in the position. It's hard because it's like I can't tell somebody else to do something that I ain't in a position to do. But like, yo, it is a lot of like Black children out here that's just like in the
Yeah.
streets. But I can do mentor stuff, you know what I'm saying? Like, which I can do a lot better
And that's
with that.
that's what our men are supposed to be doing. And a lot of men, they, they'll say, "Oh, look at them young men over there," but they won't get in there and actually help. They won't get in there and know they have no fathers, but they won't ever just create a mentorship program nationwide, globally, because there's enough men to do that. You have maybe a group here, maybe one person, that's trying it here and there, but nothing that's like really consistent. You know what I'm saying? And
Right.
but we have a lot to say about our boys. We have a lot to say about our children, but we won't do anything to fix it.
Yeah, facts. And today, because I'm not gonna just talk about whatever, because a problem that we have is like I don't know what happened, but like our parenting is garbage, you know what I'm saying? And that's why we have so much issues and mental health issues really that stem from like childhood, and we can't get along, we can't we have problems like talking to each other, like dating issues or brothers getting along in the streets, and all this come from like mental issues and a lot of it comes from like terrible parenting that we do,
Terrible parenting. Terrible parenting.
See, you know what? Because I'm gonna skip this one. This one is messed up. We don't even need to see this one. All right, I forgot about that.
Oh Lord, I'm scared to even ask. Whoa, Lord.
They didn't because you don't want to know. You don't want to know.
Oh,
I'll talk
my
about it
God.
on another one. But all right, so we're gonna talk about because the same thing is like with the mother and daughter relationship. You know what I'm saying? There's a lot of toxicity that is in there too. And me being a dude, I'm always be like, yo, the man this, the man that, because that's what I am. You know what I'm saying? So, but we also need to talk about all sides of it, because I see this too out there. And I'm gonna play just some of what she's saying.
Yes. I want to talk about, it's a situation because this is a channel, I'm building this channel for Black women, for melanated women. And I want to talk about, it's something that is not really talked about, but it needs to be talked about. And that's the relationship between the mother, the Black mother, and her Black daughter. Because this is a situation that's not talked about, but it happens on a norm. And the reason why I can discuss it, because it happened to me. When you don't understand, like you don't understand, where all the hate is coming from when it comes to your mother. And even to this day, I still don't understand it. But I know I have seen videos on YouTube of young girls crying because their mother don't want them. And I tell people, I was adopted. I was adopted by my mother's auntie. And I met my mother when I was 14. And it was a bunch of mental abuse, a bunch of physical abuse. It was something that I did not understand at the time, but it's with Black women, It's a jealousy that runs deep. And it's a conflict when your daughter when a melanated mother, when her daughter get a certain age, it becomes a almost like a competition. And this is what we don't understand.
And so I don't know, and you could jump in anytime that you want to say something there, Cassidra. Let me see.
Oh, I'm agreeing totally. And a lot of times we don't know where the anger comes from. The anger comes from a lot of even our moms went through some things with their moms, and it's just a female thing. And I think it's just, just depending. For instance, I was a part of rape. My mom, when she, gave birth to me, it was out of rape, right? So, and I'm being so transparent. This is not something I would, ordinarily talk about, but maybe this may help somebody else to understand. And growing up, my mom, she was so mean, right? But you have to understand, if you're looking at a child and you literally got pregnant through a violent, traumatizing behavior, or something that happened, traumatize her. But as a child, you don't understand that. You just know, man, this woman is just, mean. My mom worked all the time, so I was with sitters and, all the time, right? And thank God nothing ever happened to me, because it was just the protection of God, I tell you, because I was in some predicaments where I was like, oh my God, what in the world? But I'm telling you, it really does happen. And I'm telling you, even after being an adult, you never really get that bonding. But I promised myself that I would, and this is how I know that you changing and not treating your children the way you were treated is a choice. And I can say that because I lived it, right? And I promised myself that if I had children, wasn't sure if I was going to have any, didn't, at that time, didn't, you would never think about that. But I said, if I ever, this was kind of mom I wanted to be, and this was kind of mom I didn't want to be. And I promised myself that I would never treat my children the way my mom did me. Never. I wanted a different relationship. I never heard "I love you" from my mom. It was just a very, it was like a roommate. I was just there, and she had to do it, and she did what she had to do. You know what I'm saying? But it was no bonding. It was no "I love you." It was just, it was just a very hard childhood. It was very hard. And after I got grown, we still call, but it's not, we don't call every day. My girls call me every day because I totally did it totally different. I didn't want to do it the way my mom did it. And it's a choice. I could have been the same type of parent. I could have passed that same hate down to my kids, but I wanted it different. I always tell my kids I love them. Even today, my mom is 85 and she's still, that's just who she is. And we're still not close. And we would never be close. It just, we never bonded. And that was the saddest thing, when I would grow up and, I would want to call my mom and tell her, and then I would call her and it was so toxic. And I gave her permission one day. I said, if you don't ever, because the relationship was so toxic, and every time I would talk to her, it was just like, oh my God, it was just like, I would feel like shit when I got done talking to her. Right. And I actually gave her permission. I said, I'm telling you today, I'm giving you permission. If you don't ever want to talk to me another day in your life, I'm giving you permission not to do that. That's how toxic the relationship was. I would call her with great news and she would go negative, and I remember growing up, she would be so negative, about me and just things. I mean, it was just a very hard, but I'm telling you, I had to get through that. I had to get over that. I had to get through that. And the way I got through it, when I got grown, I just had boundaries. And when she would call, or when I would call, and it would go, I would, hey, how you doing? Checking on you, maybe once a month, maybe every 3 weeks. It wasn't every day. It wasn't every week, because the relationship was so toxic, and I understood. So that's why I was giving her permission to never, ever, if you didn't, because the relationship was just toxic. You know what I'm saying? You call and, you get all of this, negativity. And I finally told her, I'm not putting up with it. This is what it is. If you can't treat me this way. And I did. I gave her boundaries. And when she overstepped those boundaries, I got off the phone. Hey, okay, have a good day. And we, hey, hung up, And when I saw it going that way to be very negative, I would hang up. So you do have to create boundaries when you have a toxic mom. And I'm talking to these young girls when they get to be 18 and you see that relationship is still toxic. You do not have to put up with that. I got books on boundaries. I got books to understand how, how do I create boundaries? I didn't know how. And you can Google is your friend, get you some books on boundaries and start laying those boundaries even for your mom, even for your parents. You don't have to continue being abused. If you're 18 and that mom is still abusing you or trying to, you don't have to accept that. And I didn't. I moved away. I relocated, probably, got married. And that's probably why I got married to my first husband, who since, he died. But that's probably why I got married so soon, was because I wanted to get away from home. You know what I'm saying? And I'm not even going to say that he was the best husband, but I didn't know any better. I was just trying to get home. So it was just really, so then to say again, you don't have to tolerate abusive, toxic relationships, even if they're your mom. Even if it's your dad, you don't have to. You create those boundaries. When they get negative, you hang up and you keep moving. I don't think about, if I could, I don't think about that, because it's not. So why am I going to do that to myself? This is the relationship. It's always been that way. And it's going to always be that way. I've tried to reach out. I've tried, they say write letters, and I've tried that. It don't help, because, my mom will say, well, I don't remember this, that, and the other. Okay, that's fine. So I'm telling you, it's you create those boundaries to have and get therapy. You know me, I'm a therapy person. I will therapy in a minute. I swear I will, because I believe in having a different eyesight, and I believe in getting that love and that therapy that you need in order to heal those wounds and move forward. And I rest my mic.
Yeah, facts. And and that's why I'm glad that you have come on here and we do these every time, because like Cassidra keeps it 1,000, you know what I'm saying, like 100, all the time, and it's like one of the realest that I've ever met, and the thing that we don't want to talk about is like what happens like after, when that parent does that to that. Now that young child, young boy or girl, goes out there looking for acceptance in all the wrong places, starts getting caught up in all the wrong things, willing to do a lot more things to be grown up before they are, you know what I'm saying? And then it causes even more trauma in that, because then they're going to end up, like, a lot of times, like getting pregnant, or either having a bad experience to where later on in life they're going to be scarred and they ain't going to be able to have healthy relationships with other people.
Absolutely.
And have like like body image issues and all type of stuff throughout life, you know what I'm saying? Like, and we keep doing that to each other each generation, you know what I'm saying, every single time, like. And then we wonder why we be so screwed up and why we are like we are, you know what I'm saying? Because we don't want to talk about the after effects and why this stuff goes down.
We never talk about that. And these are subjects that's so much needed to be talked about in our communities, because these are just, sometimes we don't ever touch this. We don't ever touch, these different types of conversation. And, people just think, oh my God, I'm going through this by myself, but we need to have solutions. And the solution for me was to, therapy works. I swear it really does. You just can't be so proud and not get it, but you have to do the work. You have to do the work. I was so angry. And we just started doing the work on Cassie. I didn't want, I could have gotten out there and dated out. I didn't want to do all that. I kept to myself, because I knew that, some things, I needed to get some things straight in me before I did attract a lot of other craziness going on. But I had boundaries, and I did that for myself. Being an only child, I did that for myself. I didn't, I set up stuff, what I was going to allow and what I wasn't going to allow. And I wasn't going to allow anybody to talk to me crazy. If I was in a relationship and they start cussing at me, you got to go. And I didn't care. And I'd break that thing, honey. I was gone. Seriously, because I wasn't tolerating a lot of abuse. I lived through that. Why would I want to live through that again? You know what I'm saying? We are in charge of our lives more so than we even know. You don't have to settle for a drunk. I don't care if your dad was a drunk. You see that is what you attract into yourself, then damn it, go and get some therapy and stop sitting up here allowing yourself to be abused man after man after man. That is a choice. You either go and get some help, or you're going to die, or you're going to show your daughter that it's okay to be the hell beat out of her, and then she's going to attract a man that's going to beat on her, and then your son is going to beat his woman. Stop doing that. Stop passing that dysfunction down. Stop doing that. Therapy works. Go and get some help. especially if you came from a traumatic childhood. Go and do the work. Go and get some help so that you don't attract a drug addict or drug abuser or an alcoholic or a molester. Go and do the work on yourself so that you can, it's almost like a cleansing. Get the therapy, get the help so that you can attract different people. And that is the only way that you're going to attract different people, is by you having another lens to look out of. If not, you're going to live that same traumatic lifestyle or childhood that you had. You're going to live it in your adulthood. Childhood is everything. If you don't do the work, you're going to be miserable. You're going to continue that, and your children will continue, and it'll be generational. Where you can see today that the mom was beat on, the daughter's beat on, and the granddaughter's getting beat on now. Who wants to do that? Go and do the work so you don't pass down that craziness to other generations. Now rest my mic.
And by the way, I don't know if I said it. Shouts out to Bakari in the chat.
Yeah, Bakari, Jermaine too. Got a Jermaine.
Jermaine,
Welcome.
Oni, the Pro Black Perspective. Oni.
Hey, Oni.
Bakari said, "Did you continue therapy?"
Yes, I still do it. Absolutely. I continued it, and I'll stop it. And then if it's something else that I feel that comes up, and I'm telling you, every time I go, I find out something different. Because I remember it was a time when I was doing something, and I was like, where does that come from? I started talking to my therapist, and I'm telling you, it clicked. Like it clicked. And I was like, oh my God, that's where it came from. And it was one incident where my mom had did something or said something, and I related it to that incident. And that incident came up just as clear, because sometimes we push stuff, we hide stuff. We don't, not hide it, bury it, I guess. Is that the right word? We kind of bury it. So we kind of forget about it, you know. And yes, I'm telling you, therapy works. And even now, I still go. You know, I may not go for maybe a couple months or 6 months, maybe a year. And then if I feel that I need it, I'll go right back. Yes, absolutely. And then my daughters, I told them to go too. Yeah, I want everybody. I think everybody in this world, I think Black folk, we need it. If you're not going, if you've never gone, if you've lost a mate, if you've lost a mom, if you've lost a child, you've lost a dog, you need therapy, period. Don't sit up there and think that I'm not feeling it, I'm good. No, you're not. We took stuff and we walk in stuff that has happened to us, and we walk that stuff out with everybody. You could meet a person, for instance, if you're in a bad relationship, you'll meet the next man and treat him the same way you treated the first man, because you didn't spend time with yourself. You didn't get therapy behind that. You didn't get the help you needed to cleanse that, to root that old stuff out. And you trying to pour new wine into an old wineskin. That's not going to work. That's why so many people go from relationship to relationship to relationship to relationship, and it don't work, because you're trying to put that new wine into old stuff. And then you got sour milk and the new milk mixed in together. How is that going to taste? That's crazy. But we keep doing it. You'll go from woman to woman and blame the woman every time. Well, if she hadn't did this, if she, well, what about you? What are you doing? Are you doing anything? Let's look at yourself. If something happens in my life, I don't blame my husband. I look at me. Okay, what could I have done to, a different way? Could I have said something different? Could I have done something different? We're always supposed to be reflecting every single day. You lay in that bed, you sit up, or give yourself 30 minutes a day and get your journal and start writing. What do you want to change for tomorrow? That's how you change old behaviors. If you don't give it attention, you'll never change it. I rest.
No, yeah, consistency too, right?
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. Journaling work. You have to get, just like if you lost a child, or get some help. Journal works. It really helps you to realize stuff that you're doing, and then you can relate it back, to go ahead.
No, I was wanted to ask you a question right now. I know somebody who say somebody had a parent, right, who they had that kind of relationship where it was dysfunctional, but to the point where it was messed up for years, and then they want to get back, but that person died, so now it's hard to get over. What would you say about that?
What I would say is I would go therapy, of course, okay, because I've tried with my mom. I really have. I've tried so many times, so many ways. And I know she's not going to be around forever, but I'm okay with that, because I've tried. I did all that I could. I wrote letters, hey, how you doing? I've tried, and there's nothing you can do. You're going to have, therapy works to understand that that's not your fault. That's not going to, you can't make somebody care. You can't make somebody love you. You cannot make somebody want to have that relationship with you, because I know that every time I'm around, even when I was little, it would bring back that memory, period. So she didn't know how to get over that. My mom never went to therapy. She didn't even think nothing was wrong. And she never cared to go to therapy. It was just, I'm like this is the way I am, and you either take it or leave it. So I chose to leave it, because I don't think that I don't deserve to be treated any kind of way. And if you can't treat me any better than that, then I don't even want a relationship with you. And I understand what that person is saying, but you're going to have to come to the grips that you did all you could. You can't make somebody love you. You can't make even your mom. You cannot make a family member love you, even your husband, even your brother. You have siblings that can't stand each other, and it comes from parenting. That parent treated that child better, or that parent treated that child worse, or it was a parenting issue. Because if you come in there and you see and you'll see it even with kids that have grown up and they bicker and they don't like each other, they conflicting all the time. And that's a parental thing. Parents don't do what they're supposed to do with their children. You see your daughters fighting. We don't treat each other like that. You have to chastise that. You have to correct that behavior, because if you don't correct it, they'll think it's okay to be beating up each other. You seen sisters, they be fighting for dear life. And my daughters fought one time, and I sat them down and I said, we're not doing that. That's not how we treat each other. I was so disappointed. And I told her, I'm so disappointed. And my daughters never had a fight ever again. They might have fussed, but they were tired. I separate them. We don't talk to each other like that. So it's a parenting. If I had let them fight, they'd have been grown women still fighting each other. We don't do that. We don't fight each other. They would have known if I wouldn't have told them, if I wouldn't have corrected that behavior. And that's what happens. A lot of parents don't correct it. They say, oh, they're kids, they'll get over it. No, they don't. You have to teach them how to treat each other. You have to teach your child how to treat and talk to you. You have to talk to your child right, because if you don't talk to your child right, then guess what? They're going to talk to you the same way you talk to them. It reverses. It comes back around. I remember when I was little, I used to tell my mom, I'm your only child. You need to be good to me. Seriously, I used to tell her that, because I'm all you got, even today. But yes, I will take care of her. If something happened to when my mom needed it, I would take care of her. Yes, I'm not that to where, but I will have her in her own home. It wouldn't be in mine. It would be in her own home. Now, if she couldn't really do it, then I'm going to hire a nurse to take care of her. Yeah, I would still take care of her. Absolutely. Yeah. But right, she don't need it. My mom is healthy. She's so healthy. She's still Zumba and everything. She's, but if you just have to pick and choose, you have to want to do it different. But you can't take that blame on yourself and say, oh my God, I was no. No, you have to get that therapy, and you got to find a way to get through that, because that can follow you the whole life if you allow it to. You have to come to grips with it. You have to write letters to yourself. You got to write letters to that person. Yes, that person's dead, but you're getting it out. You got to get it out.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. That's facts. That's all facts, Cassidra. Bakari said the link he put in is to a therapist. She give Black men a couple free virtual sessions.
Oh, wow.
So the link that Bakari put in there.
Yes, Bakari, look at you. Thank you. That's awesome.
Yeah.
And guess what? Therapy don't cost. I went through my job. Therapy don't cost. $17 per session. Are you serious? You can't go and do that. EAP. A lot of people have EAP on their jobs. You don't have to tell your job. You just call that number and you tell them where you work, and if your job is offering EAP, then that means you're on that list. You get 3 free sessions, and sometimes they can extend those free sessions. If you change in the diagnosis, you can get 6 free sessions, and it's only $17. Yes, $17 every 2 weeks. I go every 2 weeks. And if I'll go until I feel like I don't need it. And I may go a year, and then something may come up, and then I'll go back. But if I see a behavior that I'm not liking, I'm going to find out about that behavior. Absolutely.
Facts.
Oh, Bakari said you're there. Okay, so she can therapy you for free. Bakari,
she gonna need a therapy messing with Bakari. She gonna want. No, I'm joking. Cool. I'm just joking with you. I will play a little bit more of what the sister was saying.
Yes. Remember when, because I just turned my back on my whole family, and I remember when a rumor would get spreaded about me. And the killing part, I wasn't dealing with anybody in my family, but they would make up lies, and they all want to get together and say, I knew that. I knew she was like that. I knew it, because it was the guilt of what they did to me when I was younger. And my mother carried that guilt. because she know she dealt me a bad hand. And I was too young to really do much to her. I never stole from her. I never did nothing. I went to, I dropped out of school because I had nobody to support me. Sometimes she'll put me out the house and I'll just be out there and wouldn't have no place to go. So I just dropped out of school. And I remember when I went to go and stay with my grandmother, and I can talk about it because it don't hurt no more, but it's learning. This should help somebody else learn from what I went through. My mother kept putting me out, didn't want me because she wanted to see me fail. Now, she gave me up for adoption, came back, played like she loved me so much, and then when she got me, she tried to dog me out. So when she came and got me, I thought everything was going to be cool. I'm like, I'm with my mother now. I'm okay. And it was almost like she turned on me. And my brother, she had no problem with my brother. And my brother was bad as hell. But she had no problem with him, but she had every problem with me. Every problem. She'd get mad at her boyfriend. She fight me. It was always everything that happened to her. She wanted somebody who she can take it out on. And I was that person. So, it's almost like I just got tired. And I remember before she put me out the last time and I had to go stay with my grandmother. And before she put me out, she told me, because I guess she knew that one day I was never going to speak to her again. I guess she knew this. And she told me, she said, you know what? You will always need me. You can run all you want, but you will always need me because I'm your mother. And I just looked at her because I was about 15 years old at that time. And the last time she put me out, she had put me out. I went to go stay with my grandmother. And I remember her telling my grandmother that you need to put her out there with the other hoes because she's nothing but a hoe. And at that time, I was still a virgin. But she hated me. So she didn't know why she hated me, but she hated me so. She hated.
So yeah, what you think about that, Cassidra?
I could still hear the pain. It still bothers her. She may say, but even when she's talking, you can still hear the pain. And it does hurt because, it hurts because you expect your mom, that they should be a ride or die, no matter what. But it's just something in our community. And it could have been her dad. It could have been from her dad. It could have been from her, maybe the dad, and some women, if the dad shows her, attention, the daughter more attention than the mom or the mom, I'm telling you, it's a lot of psychological stuff in our community that we really need help with. That mom needed help. And who knows, maybe the grandma treated the mom that way. And now she's being good to her because of how she treated her mom. You know what I'm saying? So that could be a thing. It could be where the mom and her dad didn't get along, or he cheated on her, or he got her pregnant and left. You just never know. But you still have to maintain those boundaries. You don't continuously, and I know young girls can't help it, but we fail our children in the community when we are, because family members see all of this. So when the family members don't step in and say, Gertrude, I see you doing that girl like that. Stop doing that girl like that. Sometimes you have to call it out. And when you call it out, then the mom is more careful. You know what I'm saying? But she'll hide it. But if you guys hold her the mom accountable, her sisters hold her accountable, then it kind of subsides. You know what I'm saying? But sometimes the sisters don't say nothing. Sometimes the family members don't say nothing. So, you just have to, I tell you that therapy, that's all I'm just saying, therapy works. And it helps you deal. I don't think you ever really get over it because that's still your mom, but you kind of learn how to live with it. Am I I hope I'm making myself.
No, that makes complete sense because like people think like, yo, I just want it to end. You may never end, but you learn
It
how
may,
to
you have
right.
to learn how to cope with it. It never ends. It never ends. Never, never. It never does.
Right.
You just have to learn how to live with it.
And you got to learn how to turn energy into
Yeah.
something productive, like that
Mhm.
anger and
Yeah.
whatever you feel.
Yeah.
You're supposed to use that anger. It's letting you know something is wrong. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? That's what lets you know you're human. Like when you're mad about something, it's just that we use the anger in an unproductive direction. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? Like, but it could be transformed into productive energy if you
And you use it
understand.
as far as your children, just like my girls. I didn't treat my girls like that. I don't treat my babies like that. Heck no. And I let anybody else. I was very, very protective over them. Very. School wise, I was there. Babysitter wise, I would interview them and I told them, let me tell you something. I'm like this. You do it to them, I'm doing it to you. I'm not even going to report it. I'm serious. And I said, so if you got the unction or the foresight to abuse mine, you're gonna live to regret it. I guarantee you that. So, and I would go there and they would know my schedule. And I'm telling you, I would pop up. You never knew when I was coming. So you better be on your P's and Q's. I wasn't playing when it came to mine. I was a tiger. I would eat your head. I will pull your head off your body. Mess with mine. Seriously, and I'm like that even now. They're grown, and I'm still a protector for them. I always will be, but I don't have to, they're grown now. But if my daughter call, and say something crazy, I'm there. Girl, come on here. Let's handle this. Seriously. No, you're not gonna do that. Even my granddaughter, I'm very protective over her. So you turn that energy into something positive. My foundation, that's one reason, right? And it's about the inmates, and it's about me helping them and and I'm redirecting energy and getting new relationships with people and you turn it into something positive, you guys. You can't just let that eat you. You turn it into something, create a foundation for children. Go adopt, be a foster parent or just turn it into a foundation. For me, it worked. It worked. Just helping other people. And it's students wise, inmates wise. It's all about loving on other people, giving them that love that you didn't get from somebody else, that you didn't get from your mom, or you didn't get from your husband, or you didn't get from your whoever. You turn it into you loving on somebody else. You turn it into a positive, something positive.
Facts.
And I rest.
Yeah, and loving yourself too. I'm playing.
Environment that is so toxic, that is so what is even the word for? Just so dysfunctional. And some of you have those mothers that, like in that movie Precious, where Monique was playing that, shout out to Monique, but some of you have mothers that have literally sacrificed their children to be around their family or even to be with men. And what do I mean? They know or they knew that things were happening to their child or children, and they chose to turn a blind eye to it and a deaf ear. Meaning, when the child would present to them the evidence of things happening to them, the mother would say, well, what did you do? Well, why are you doing that? Or some cases,
Gold Peak Tea is brewed.
All right, my bad. But you know what's crazy though, considering I knew a woman who was her mother died when she was young and she was living with her aunt and her aunt's boyfriend was doing whatever to her and when she was a child, you know what I'm saying? And so like when she told her aunt this, her aunt blamed her for the situation and said you lying and all types of stuff. And she grew up to be like kind of like wild, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Yeah.
And,
That
but
happens. Either they are gay or they're wild turkeys. I mean, out drugs, you got a lot of women that get on drugs. You got a lot of women that's promiscuous,
drugs,
sleep with any and every man they can find. You got a lot of women that are homosexuals, LGBT, lesbians because of that. So it could go any way. It's just, I'm telling you, for me, is by choice. You decide on what kind of life you want to live. You decide how far, who, you are in charge of your life. And I keep telling people, you cannot let some of these situations eat you alive. You have to get help, because if you don't, anything and everything can happen. You have to get that help.
Yeah.
All right.
And I'll say this too, because I knew another, like, when I was a teenager, like this girl I was dating, like her father was doing stuff to her. But like when she finally told her mother actually did something about it, and dude ended up going to jail and all
You
that
think the
stuff.
mom didn't know? The mom knew.
I don't know, because he would do it like in times where, like, you know what I'm saying, where nobody was around type thing, you know what I'm saying?
You
And
kind of
like,
know. You
yeah.
mom, women have this intuition. She just didn't want to face it, but then she probably knew, but didn't say anything because she was waiting on the daughter. Because if the daughter say something, then I'll know she felt it. Women know. You can't tell me she didn't know. You in the same household, you know. And by that daughter bringing it to her, then it confirmed what she already knew. So if she
Right.
knew, I guarantee you, the mom knew. She just didn't say anything because she was hoping and praying it wasn't true. But then when her daughter brought it to her, then she was able to, that was a confirmation for her that she needed to save her daughter. She knew.
Right,
She
right.
knew. Yeah.
Yeah, I feel you. I feel you. Yeah, because that whole
There ain't
thing
too
was like
much your
crazy.
kids do that you don't know. You be knowing when your daughter pregnant. You know when your son is that. You know, as a mom, you just know. You'll have a dream. I'm telling you, my first daughter got pregnant. I'm dreaming, and I'm looking at this little girl, and she was everywhere I went. Here she was. I'm like, who is pregnant? I already knew. So asking, so I didn't say anything in the beginning, but then I finally asked my daughter, hey, I'm having this dream. What's going on? And she came to me and told, but I already knew. So women know. Don't let them tell you they don't. They know. If you
Yeah.
have that relationship with your child, you know.
Right, right. Yeah, I feel you. I feel you. Because I ain't, I don't know, all I believe you, you know what I'm saying? All right, let me,
Parent can say, well, why are you dressing like that? Well, you're already out here doing things.
see, let
You
me
can
skip
keep
ahead a
him,
little bit.
no matter what he's doing. If he's make it the maximum of what they're trying to do. So that means they were your sanity, your identity, and your pureness because they want something that they know is not right. But some people for back in the day, they have this mindset of get a man if he's working, and if you can keep him. No matter what he's doing, if he's abusing
Hell no.
others or people or
Heck
very,
no.
You said something,
Heck
sister?
no. Heck no. Hell to the no. No. I would never tell my daughter to stay there in an abusive relation. That's stupid advice. It makes no sense. Why would you? Why? My thing is, if you see, say for instance, I'm seeing some type of behavior with my daughter. They already know I'm a therapy person. I'll be come here. I think you need to go see. Seriously, I'm not
Right.
going to sit up there and see, even if she said something or did something to my granddaughter or said something to her that I didn't like. Oh, I'm gonna call her out on it. I'm not gonna sit up there and be seeing her do stuff and not say anything. It's a parent's duty for you to call something out because they may not even recognize that they're doing it. You know, so you have to say something. I remember one thing that I was doing when they was little. I was saying, I can't remember. It was a behavior, right? And I saw it in, I was doing my therapy thing, and I mentioned I recognized the behavior. I went to my daughter and I asked them, "Hey, do you guys remember me doing so and so so and so?" I can't even remember what it was. And they go, "Yeah." And I said, "Why didn't you guys say anything?" They said, "We thought it was normal." Said they did, and I said, "No, it wasn't. It was something either I was saying or I was doing, or I can't remember what it was because I'm thinking this is what it was." I remember at one point, I would always bring out something negative about myself, and that was a behavior that I had way back in the day, but I got it from my childhood, right? I learned that was learned behavior. So I would do that around my kids, and they was like, "Yeah, we remember." And I go, "No, that wasn't." So I had to, kind of like, I had to straighten that out, explain that to them why they saw that, and that wasn't a good behavior. And I wanted them to use that. They saw that they were doing that to themselves, but I didn't create that for them. I was saying it about myself. You know what I'm saying? So I didn't want them to think it was okay for them to speak negative about themselves. So I said, okay, that will be a therapy talk. So everything that I will begin to see, because I remember way when my daughter was probably maybe 5, I was really harsh on her, really hard because I got it from my mom, right? And she was, and I even like 9. I said, hold on, let me just, so I began to rechange some stuff, restructure some stuff, just so I could make sure that she was good. Just so, because when you grow up in a harsh environment, you don't know anything else. You don't. So you have to begin, and even when my daughter was 5, like I said, I began to apologize for her. Hey, and then I began to watch her behavior so I could correct stuff. Even if I was harsh on her, too hard, I began to love on her more, to apologize, just beginning to notice things, because I wanted to heal some things if I had damaged her in any way by not knowing what I was doing. You understand? Because it was done to me. So I began to watch and notice stuff, and then just, hey, let's try to do it this way, or let's not do it that way, or let's not say it this way. So begin to correct things, and you can do that with children to up to 10. They learn. You have to apologize if you see that you as a parent and you know that you aren't but nobody's perfect out here. But apologize if you have to. It's okay to apologize to your child and say, hey, before I knew better, I used to do blah, blah, blah. I'm sorry for that. I'm sorry if that hurt you. Because my mom, for instance, wouldn't talk sometimes. She would shut down. And we'd go days without even talking. Good morning. Or, nothing, right? So when my daughter would do something, I would give her the silent treatment, right? But I learned that from early on. So I begin to correct that. I'm trying to be so transparent because I know that young girls are going through this. And I want young girls that's going to come to this channel and hear this. I want them to know that it's okay. And it's not your fault. I need you to understand that therapy works. And it's okay, even parents, that that you've done something to your daughter or you said something. It is okay to say, I'm sorry. It is okay to apologize for that behavior and correct the behavior. Don't know that you did something to your child and not correct that behavior. It's okay to say, I'm sorry. It is. And I rest my mic.
Yeah, facts, So I'll play some of what this person is saying. Now, I would say I definitely don't agree with everything this person says, but I just found one part, kind of.
Women, y'all want to sit up and want everybody to kiss your ass and woe is me, and it's so hard being black and female, black and a woman, da 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 da. But then you turn around and treat your children like shit. You purposely sit up, especially if there's multiple children in the family. A lot of black women do this. Y'all will sit up.
Is that a woman or a man?
That's the question. But
okay. So you didn't know. Because I'm just saying okay, go ahead.
Yeah, because the crazy part is that they be like, yo, they wonder why a lot of this stuff come from. And then this person is saying like they're what really deep down where a lot of the that they're I'm only I guess I can't speak for this person, so I don't know.
Manufacture beef and discrepancies between the siblings, so there can be some type of drama.
I talked about that. Remember we just said that. Remember? Mm-hmm. Remember we just talked about that. It's a parenting issue. When you see your children fighting like that, you have to correct that. You can't say, oh, they don't know any better. Correct the behavior so that they can be, oh, we were not supposed to act like that. No, you're not supposed to act like that. I told you my daughters had one fight, and that was the only fight ever. One. They never fought like that because I corrected that behavior. If I had not, guess what? They'd have been grown women still fighting each other, just acting a fool. No, that's a behavior. And I've seen young girls sisters fighting out in public. I'm like, what is that? That's a behavior. That's a child. That's a parental issue there that was never corrected. And I rest my mind.
Yep. In fact, no, what you're saying is all facts.
Problem with narcissism in a nutshell, dealing with toxic people, dealing with pathological folks. Like, these folks are the worst. I sit up here and watch my grandmother do this all my life. Sitting up here 1 minute, I love my daughter. My daughter is doing this and da 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 da. The minute the daughter don't do something that she wants or that she needs or she thinks she deserves, then fuck the daughter. My daughter ain't shit. She's a crackhead. She's this, she's that. But my son, he's educated and smart. The minute the son doesn't do something, oh, well, fuck him. He's lazy. He needs to get his life together. My grandchild is smart and educated and out here doing stuff in the community. The minute the grandchild, me, doesn't do something, well, fuck them. They're mentally ill. They're trans. They're fucked up in the head.
Oh, I know. Okay, that's what it is.
You
I was like,
you
what
see
the
what I'm
hell
saying?
is it? Is it a girl, woman? I couldn't see which one it was. What the hell? Go
You
ahead.
see what I'm saying? Yeah.
All of this purposely pitting your children and offspring against each other instead of supporting a healthy, loving relationship between the people in your family. All she does, and a lot of black women do this, is sit up.
No, when people say a
No,
lot of black
they
women, we
don't.
ain't gonna do that.
They don't know
We ain't gonna do
all,
that.
and that's hurt.
Right.
Okay, let's talk
Right.
about this right here.
Thank
Let's
you.
talk about this right here.
Thank you, because you be getting it considered. You already
That's
know.
hurt. Okay, that's hurt. He needs therapy. Whatever it is, it needs therapy.
I think it's a girl.
Okay, well, I can't tell. Whatever it is, it needs therapy. Seriously. And I've seen, you know what the weirdest thing is? I've seen a therapist, right? And you know how you go through the little bulletin. I've seen one that was a man. He had lipstick on, a wig, and I'm like, who the hell you going therapy? I'm like, you need to get some therapy yourself. I'm just saying. Okay, anyway, that was okay. Anyway, that's still on topic. But I'm just saying, it was a question. I'm like, who are you going to therapy? You a whole man with a wig, makeup, nails, eyelashes. What the hell? What you going to tell somebody? You need to be sitting on somebody's couch. Okay. I'm just saying, but seriously, that right there is hurt. That person is hurt and needs some therapy. So you get on here and you want to vent all your hurt. You're hurt. Go get some help. And so that'll help you to deal with it so that you can become a better you. And it's not about them. You're getting that therapy. So for me, I did it for me, for my kids, because I didn't want to treat my girls the way my mom treated me. And if it was in there to do it, I wasn't going to. I was going to tear it out before it even started. You know what I'm saying? So, because I know people said, "Oh, you know, when you're married to an alcoholic, it's because your dad was an alcoholic." Well, whatever that was, I was going to make sure that wasn't going to be for mine, because I was going to do better by them. I was going to show them and teach them love. I wasn't going to just show them and not do it. I needed them to see it, and I needed to show them. You know what I'm saying? Because you can say it all you want, but if you don't show them, what difference does it make? Nothing. I'll rest.
Yeah. But no, that was the point though. Like I play. That's a man. We're gonna move on.
Mm-hmm. Keep drama going, and that's narcissistic as hell. Anytime other people are enjoying themselves, having a good time, happy, laughing, smiling, giggling, in a bubbly mood, you can best believe this black woman, my grandmother, she's gonna have a problem. Because that's what it is. Yesterday I came in from work.
Right. So, and people don't also leave this whole part about like we already suffer from identity crises and all that stuff. But when we do this in the family, like the children grow up and suffer from an even further identity crisis than we already suffer generally as black people.
Yes.
Right?
And this is why we should have therapy. And just like Oni says, he said a lot of these folk just need therapy. And he's right. A lot of black people. I don't care about a lot of white folk too. Okay. Because anytime you can sit up there and hang somebody and burn them alive and you show your child that's trauma. That's trauma passed down from generation to generation. So everybody in America need to be sitting on, even therapists need to be on the therapist chair, because they have stuff too, but they've just gone to school to get training to help you through yours.
Right. I would say though, like one thing that could help them with their, like maybe if they, I ain't gonna say that. All right, I ain't gonna say that. So.
you said a whole lot tonight, and saying I ain't gonna say it. You may as well say it. You did already thought it.
Well, for their therapy, maybe the only way that they can fix themselves is to watch them hang each other.
Oh, hey, I'm just saying that works for me.
So that could be their therapy. But all right, I'll go to the next one.
That's perfect. That was nothing but hurt, and that person needs therapy to forgive. And they have an issue with their mom issues. You can tell you can tell the boys that have an issue with moms that they don't have a relationship with the moms, and you can tell the boys or the girls that have a father issue, they don't have that relationship with the fathers. You can tell the mom if you have, and I'm gonna tell you men, if you have a woman and they have daddy issues, they're gonna have husband issues. Okay, until that issue is fixed, and until that issue is fixed, you'll never be able to make her happy. She needs to come already happy. You know how some women say, "Oh, I'm just looking for this man, it's gonna make me happy." No, you have to be ready already. You have to already be happy. No person can make you happy. It's a choice, And if you're not already happy, he can't do it for you. So if you if you got a woman that's sitting up there, saying, oh my God, he is, don't make her happy. If she's not already happy, there, you can't help it. You can't, she'll be going back and forth, talking just like the grandma. One day the grandma's good, one day she's not. That's a parental issue, either a daddy issue, or it could be a mama issue.
All facts. Because what do? You grow up and marry the person that you're seeking in the first place.
Yes. You'll marry a person just like the one. If you don't get counseling, you'll marry that person just like your mom, fellas, or you'll marry a person. Even you can have ladies. You can even marry a person like your mom. Your husband could act like your mother. Characteristic wise, not being yet, what I'm saying, characteristics like, for instance, Virgo, all Virgos act alike, right? So you can literally marry a Virgo and all male or female Virgos act alike.
And what's crazy though, Cassidra, the one thing that I noticed, like from people just on here, right, that come on here when that talk all anti, like the dudes that talk anti-black women or anti-black dudes, you know what I'm saying? Like all of them have hatred of their parents or their family. And you be like, what about your parent? They be like, forget my parent, that's where it comes from. Like
That's
all of that stuff.
I told you every adult issue is a childhood issue and it grows up with you. If you have a mom issue, I keep telling you, when you don't have your dad there, you're going to have father issues. And any man that comes, if you don't have your father, you're going to abuse them. Women, ladies will abuse. They'll be trying to overpower. They'll speaking to them all crazy. They'll be angry, have an attitude all the time, just mad. And it'll be a trigger. And even if they had their dad from age 10, up until 12, they remembered their dad, but they're angry because he left, right? So yes, you're going to still have father issues or male issues with that woman until she gets that help and forgives her dad or forgives that mom. Even for a young man, if he has an issue with his mom, he's going to have an issue with every woman that he dates, and you will never be able to please him. He will cheat on you. It'll be a horrible, he'll be mad at the world for nothing. You won't be able to cook right. You won't be able to smile right. You won't be able to sit right. You won't be able to do anything right because he has a mother issue. And a lot of our boys and a lot of our girls have father issues because they didn't grow up with and I keep telling Black folk, having a mother and a father is so important. Men, I don't care if you're not with that woman, you be with that child. That's your son and that is your daughter. Please, if you want to stop the dysfunction, you have to have that relationship. Even if you're not with that woman, I don't give a damn. Go and spend some time with that son. Go and get him for a week. Go and get him this summer. You should have had him for the whole summer. Take him back on weekends and you go and get him again. And that, what I'm saying? You got to spend time with these kids. I promise you, if our men and women would really get it together, stop having babies with strangers, stop having babies with these men that don't even know how to be fathers, don't even know how to be husbands, don't even know how to be friends. We got to stop this at some point. And now is the best time to do it. Start with our babies now. Don't have a baby by a woman that is bipolar. Bipolar behavior. Stop it. Don't just get with a woman just because just because of sex. Stop it. You have a baby by her, that's a fool. You with that fool for the next lifetime because she ain't going away. You hear me? Lifetime, right? Because she gonna always be there. Stop it. We gotta stop. Get some counseling, get the therapy. Then you can have productive relationships so that you can be married to that woman and stay there for them babies. Stay there. Raise your kids. You can stop all of this. Be the man of your household. Be the king of your home. You can stop this at any time. Family, we can do this. But we got to get some help. We've been abused in America for way too long. And we just taking it out on each other. We'll kill somebody for stepping on the toe, but then you'll have these white folk over you at these jobs and treat them like gold. You'll have a president over you that treats you like dirt, and you'll still back her. You'll still back him. You'll still vote for him. They ain't promising you for nothing, but because she looks like you're going to vote for her, even though she brought all these immigrants in here and took your Black jobs. Okay, I'm just saying. I'm saying that for myself because I see the Black jobs ain't there. Because I done went to some places where Black folk used to inundate, they used to overpower, they used to run. Black folk ain't there. I don't know where Black folk working. I see a lot of Mexicans now. I swear. Y'all look around. McDonald's, Mexicans. AutoZone, Mexicans. I swear,
Warehouse
Riley,
Mexicans.
Mexicans. Huh?
What man? Warehouse trucking, all that stuff.
Mexicans now. I swear. I'm like, where is the black folk? Where we working? We're not.
Yep.
We are not working. I have met more black folk that's not working. And I don't know how when we talking about older, younger, our kids ain't working nowhere. We got to train them. They have their own businesses, you guys. We got to get them. And I'm not trying to get off the subject. I'm just saying we have to treat and teach our children to be entrepreneurs. It's mandatory. And they have to learn how to support each other. Stop giving them crackers your money. Stop it. You want to take the jobs? We're going to support our own. And we're going to come between us and exchange our money in our own community among us. That's the only way we're going to stop all of this. Go ahead, I rest.
You preaching tonight. You on fire tonight, Cassidra. All right, so I'm gonna play this, and then we're gonna start talking about something positive. So we
the narcissistic mother is very jealous of her daughter, and if her daughter is beautiful, smart, talented, and people are very attracted to her daughter, she's gonna want to set her daughter up in all the worst ways. A lot of times, narcissistic women are very promiscuous, and when they see their daughters coming up, growing up, looking beautiful, growing, you know what I'm saying, and just doing good in life, they become so jealous of their daughter's purity. They get jealous of their daughter's virginity, and they will set their daughters up to literally get raped or to end up in very toxic relationships where it just beat her down, you know, mentally, physically, spiritually. And she likes to see her like that because she wants her daughter to be stressed out. She don't want her to be feminine because a lot of the times, not even a lot of the times, most of the time, these narcissistic women are very masculine. Like they are always in a competitive state. And when they see that you're growing up and you're beautiful and you pure, you just want to go to school and get your life together because they didn't make the right choices, they want to bring you down. They don't want you to be pure. They don't want you to live a soft girl life. They want you to have a hard life like them. These narcissistic mothers hate their daughters so much. They don't want to see you in a good relationship. They want to see you in a toxic relationship with a man beating on you, cheating on you. If they see you doing good and they see you in a relationship, they're going to hate that man. They're going to try to convince you that's not the one for you. They're going to try to get in that person's ear and talk bad about you to destroy any chances of you having anything good. The best thing for you to do if you know that your mother's a narcissist is to get away from her because you will end up having a hard life because they are always in survival mode. And that's how they want you to be. They want you to be in survival mode because they had to do that. That's how they feel. You don't deserve to have no soft girl life. They're gonna tell you that you lazy if you're not working as hard as they are supposed to be working. Then all of a sudden you are lazy. You know what I'm saying? BITCH, and they had to do this and they had to do that. You weak. They're gonna get in your head and try to make you think like them so that you'll be competitive and be masculine. Because the truth is that energy is not really gonna attract you the greatest things. Feminine energy attracts you the greatest things. When you just rest in your feminine energy and you know that you could attract whatever you want and you just feel good about yourself and you have high self-esteem, you could attract whatever you want. That's why they try to break you down. That's why the narcissistic mother always puts their daughters down. They kick them out the house early. They choose their brothers over them. They choose men over them. Is because they want you to have a very hard life because they hate you and they're competitive against you.
Wow.
What you think about that?
Wow, you know, she's hitting it on the head. She is hitting it on the head. And I'm gonna tell you an experience that I had, and it kind of woke me up a little bit. I was maybe 17, maybe, you know, I was going for my first job at Sears. Anybody remember Sears and Roebuck, right? I remember my first job. My mom she took me to the interview. I didn't have a car. She took me to the interview, and I had to stay to the interview because they hired me, and I needed to go training that day, right? So she had to be at work at 4. My interview was at like maybe 2, but I had training, and training started at 4. So she had to get to work, right? So I come out of training, and training was maybe till about 6 or 7, like that, you know. So I come out of training, and it was me and this other young lady, and her dad had dropped her off. You know, her dad was waiting for her. So I come out of training and this man goes, "Oh, your mom wants me to take you home." I'm like, "Well, who the hell are you?" I didn't know him, right? And I'm sitting there, I'm like, she left me here, and I'm like, oh my God. So I didn't know the man, she didn't know the man, and I'm just meeting his daughter, right? And she's probably we're the same age, right? So I'm like, oh my God. So I'm scared to get in the car because I'm like, what if he drops his daughter off first? You know what I'm saying? All kind of stuff is going in my head, right? Because I've always been a protector of me, right? So I'm like, oh my God, what if he drops his daughter off first and then wants to take me home? I'm like, oh my God. So I was so afraid. I'm driving. I'm like, well, okay, because I didn't have anybody else. My mom's at work. She didn't know. It just, and even to the day, that really still bothers me because you just, now you could have put me in a very dangerous situation. And I called her, yes, I got home safely, thank God. I'm telling you, I've always had angels. I don't care if nobody said, you guys can say what you want. I've always had angels around me. I'm telling you, I've been in very situations where literally I could see God moving in that situation, even for this situation right here. So I get dropped off and I call my mom at work and I'm blasting her. I'm like, why would you do that? You didn't know that man. I didn't know that man. You left me. You did. I'm going off, right? I didn't care. She got angry, but I didn't care because I needed her to understand the dangers, whether she recognized it or not. I'm hoping that she didn't, but she probably did because of what she went through. You have to understand that behavior will replay itself in your child. You understand what I just said? Because she went through the rape, right? Listen to what I'm saying. Because she went through the rape, right? She put me in a situation for the same thing to happen. And I really believe it was on purpose, but I want to say it wasn't. But I feel that it was. But thank God that this man was a decent individual and didn't try. He dropped me off first and took his daughter on. I was so grateful, but I was so mad that she put me in that position. And I was older. I was always older mentally. I was, only child. I was very beyond my years, right? And I had the wisdom, and it was just, I don't know, just wisdom, right? But it made me so mad that she did that. So I understand what this young girl is saying because it happened to me. You know what I'm saying? I was put in that position, and thank God that he was a decent human being, that he didn't try to take advantage of this woman who just dropped her 17-year-old daughter off in a stranger's hands and didn't feel to protect her daughter. You saw how that could have went. It could have went a whole lot of ways. But I'm so grateful that he, didn't even try anything. He dropped me off. Hey, have a good day. Thank you. I thanked him, and I was like, oh my God, I'm near tears because I saw the danger. I felt that, he wasn't dangerous, but I'm just saying it could have been a very dangerous situation. And I rest.
No, that's deep, like what you said, like what you go through, you repeat it, even subconsciously, which is even more dangerous.
Yes, and that's what I'm saying. That could have been a very dangerous, because it could have happened right then and there. My life could have changed forever because my mom didn't think and have enough protection for me. And from that moment, and it wasn't even that moment. It was moments before where I knew that I always had to protect myself. Always. And it started early. We were talking about 9 or 10 when I knew that I would always be my own protector. Seriously, I had no protection but me and my mouth. And that's why I'm so boisterous. Even now, I'm very boisterous because that's my protection mechanism. Because a lot of people, they watch the quiet ones, and that's the ones that they want to get over on. And I understood that. So my mouth was always a big mouth. I was always a big mouth. I'm going to tell. So they was like, "Okay, mess with that one. I'm going to tell." And they knew I was going to tell, or I was going to say something. I was not one of those quiet children. I was an only child, and I was very boisterous because I had to be my own protector.
And and only and shouts out to Raw in the building.
Raw, hey Raw.
Only said I be finding the most traumatized with women. It's not even that, bro. Like the problem is it's too easy to find traumatized.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
Like, and I'm only talking about this because I know like people in my family that go through this. You know what I'm saying? Like it's so common that it's crazy. You know what I'm saying? So we're gonna start talking about I guess you've been talking about solutions already, but let's just focus on solutions.
Sophia Lark of the every single week, accessing over the centuries pertinent documentation and historical records to actually help us understand.
Wait a minute, one thing
exactly
for Cass.
how-
Let me just say one thing, because only I'm
Mhm.
reading his comments, and he said something about the time machine. Tell me this stuff 10 years ago. But we need to really help men to recognize toxic women. We really need to do that, because sometimes they smile, but you don't see it in the beginning. But as you begin to learn, and I tell anybody, date a woman 3 to 6 months, and you'll and I tell the girls this: date, don't no sex, date, talk, and let her talk, and she'll tell you who she really is. You'll begin to see, and vice versa for the men too. Ladies, let them talk, and they will tell you who, and they'll begin to show you who they really are. You have to communicate. If you let her talk, she's gonna tell you everything you want to know. You just have to listen.
Facts.
You
Yo, that
have
what
to
you
be able to recognize a toxic woman. And if a woman tells you, I didn't grow up with my dad, you have, and a lot of women didn't. So you're gonna have father issues, but you're going to have to learn how to deal with that woman with father issues, because a lot of women didn't grow up with dads. So they do have father issues. But you have to begin to know, and being a man, you're gonna have to ask the universe or God or whoever how to deal with this woman that I just got into a relationship with, or possibly married, who didn't have a father, and stuff that you're going to do is going to trigger her. So when she's blowing up, it's a trigger. You got to find out that behavior that you just did that triggered her, because she may not even know. But every time you do that, it's going to trigger her, because that's a woman that needs some counseling, who has never gotten counseling. So you're going to have to begin, men, to recognize a woman, and a lot of women have daddy issues, but you as a man can help her through that. But you're going to have to learn how to recognize when she's dealing with those traumas, or when she's dealing with that aloneness, or when she's dealing with that daddy, that missing father. You're going to have to recognize those behaviors. And a lot of times women will show you by them breathing, like that, or they'll be, oh my God, or I'm just saying, they may say, sucking their teeth, or they're breathing hard, but they're showing you before they blow up that it's an issue. So you're going to have to recognize it. So you got to slow down to be able to recognize it when she says, ain't nothing wrong, but it is something wrong, because you just triggered her. We need to talk about that. That needs to be a whole conversation by itself for Cass.
No, yeah, you're right. You're right. And what you said, even what right there was just like how it's like super deep, is because like you picking, it's like getting to know somebody and not just whatever. Like I'll say it for like Oni, like good thing he's like got a fiance now. Like shouts out to Oni. But like he wasn't looking at the girl who did him dirty. He wasn't looking at her smile. You know what I'm saying? That's the problem.
Right.
With a lot of young boys. And I would say with me too, like I'm not gonna act like I wasn't exempt, because like what you said, getting to know somebody, like the one thing that a dude is not trying to do is get to know somebody. He's trying to get something from somebody. But even I understand it, because
that's
I'm
going
a
to cost
dude.
him, but that's going to cost him. And it has cost him, and it keep costing him, because you keep doing the same stuff over and over without reflecting. Men don't stay single long enough to reflect on nothing. So you keep getting the same woman, just a different face, but the same spirit, because you didn't do the work to get healed up from the last woman. So here you go again, jumping into bed with the same spirit that you just got out of bed with. And she acts just like the last woman, who looked different, but didn't look that much different, but they act just alike, because you didn't allow yourself to heal to attract a different type of spirit. Because once you allow yourself to heal, then you will attract a different type of a woman, and vice versa for ladies. The one girlfriend I had, she was really, really a great friend, and she kept attracting these crazy men, right? And I was telling her, it's not them, it's you. She got offended. Don't get offended. Do the work. And she said, but you're trying to, no, I wasn't trying to say anything about her, but she took it personal. I didn't care, because I was telling her, you keep attracting the same creeps because it's something in you broken. She didn't want to hear that. She keeps, well, why am I? Because it's something in you that needs some attention. Once you pay that little piece some attention, that part will be healed up. Then you can attract a different type of man. But you have to be ready to hear truth, and you have to be ready to do the work. It may take 6 months. Okay. But if I'm going to get a better type of man or a better type of woman, man, then do the work. Stay single for a minute. Stop jumping in everybody's bed. You're getting the same thing that you just left because it's not gone. It's not healed up. So it's still attracting the same spirit. And it could be something from childhood from your mom. I'll rest my mic.
No, yeah, that's a fact, and and I'm just joking with Oni, but the problem, I think a lot of especially young dudes with hormones with no guidance and stuff like that, like you'll be more attracted to a woman's handpots than her character, you know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And then be like, damn, why she doing me dirty? You know what I'm saying? Like, well, why do you think, bro? Like, how do you be the third, anyway. So I'll play this sister video because she's talking about, because I can't just be like, yo, Blunt, because it goes all the way back. You know how I do it. I'm gonna just play a few minutes of her video.
All this theft and erasure of our culture has impacted us. Our ancestors were robbed of their cultural identity when they were stolen from their homeland and taken to some faraway land and forced to assimilate into a foreign culture where they primarily had to adapt survival behaviors.
Mm-hmm.
So with their cultural identity stripped, this was then replaced by a Eurocentric worldview
Exactly.
that worked relentlessly
Mm-hmm.
to socialize Africans into believing that,
Mm-hmm.
you're not just inferior to whites, you're not even human.
Right.
So, as you can imagine, this laid the foundation for various abuses, injustices, and outright barbarism against African Americans, and particularly against African American women who were repeatedly raped,
Mm-hmm.
forced to breed, and medically experimented on at the will of the master, at the will of the master's doctor, whoever wanted a piece of her. And this disrupted traditional African motherhood practices, the way that they raised their children, that they had to adapt to survive. So these adaptations then became more in alignment with the colonizers' wishes, which were founded on racist, violent, stereotypical narratives, beliefs, behaviors, and images
like that we ugly,
influenced the way Black
whores,
mothers begin to parent
violent,
their children.
we
So
deadbeats.
with the dignity of motherhood stripped through the repeated abuse of Black women, the horrific abuse of Black women, many mothers became unable to form secure attachments with their children, which then laid the foundation for the creation of an insecure attachment system from which the mother wound would eventually emerge. Over time, many African Americans, not all, became psychologically enslaved. And so that means that they took on the beliefs, the ideals, the preferences, the norms of the oppressor, and begin to, in their behaviors, the way that they showed up in the world, the things that they said, begin to show or to speak of European, Eurocentric values being the best way to navigate in the world. If we adhere to that, their way of doing things, then we can be accepted. It's what many people call respectability politics. And so this mindset gets passed down from one generation to the next. Nobody breaks the cycle. And it impacts how Black and brown people
I don't know about
show
the
up
brown
in the
stuff,
world.
but whatever.
Elevating Eurocentric ideals, values, norms, preferences, demonstrating a preference for the way that white people do things. And I'm not saying that everything that white people do is wrong. That's not what I'm saying here.
I'll say it for
I
her.
shop at white stores.
I'll say it for her. Everything they do is wrong.
I'll say it
Everything.
for too. Everything.
Everything. Everything they do is wrong. I'll say that. Yeah,
You know,
what's
I
up,
talk to
MG
white
Two? Shout out
people.
to my good
I
brother MG
actually have a
Two.
couple of white friends. You know,
Oh
not
no.
Friend. See,
Well,
see,
as long
that's
as you
her
don't go
problem
spend
right
the
there.
night, as long as you
See,
don't go
that's her
spend the night,
problem
she'll
right
be
there.
all right.
See what I'm saying? She got friends that's white. I don't have no white friends. I don't trust none of them. I don't even want to be around them because I don't trust none of them. Because they had a knife, you sitting up there smiling, they plotting to kill you. She already confused, but I understand what she's saying. But go ahead, you can finish playing.
Nah, that was it. That was pretty much it right there. Because she started going left field there, but she does have a point, right? You don't know what language did you speak? What's your name? We don't know none of that stuff. Like, so our cultural identity of passing down stuff is to survive in America, and then we wonder why we get so toxic with each other. We can't agree on anything as simple as like
We've been taught
boycotting
that
a
though.
store.
We've been taught how
Exactly.
to do that.
Right. You know, and it comes down like all the way down through history is to keep your eyes on the ground and to walk on the street so you don't get, and I get it, it's because you don't want your child to be lynched, you know what I'm saying? But at the same time, like you'll be enslaved forever with that mindset, you know what I'm saying? And then we teach each other. Now they got it to where our families are so dysfunctional
Yep.
that we teaching our children how to be good slaves at this point. You know what I'm saying? Like, I know y'all want to believe that we slaves, but like,
Oh, we
you
still
know,
slaves. They know it.
thank you. Right.
They know
And-
it. We still slaves. But until we get to the point and understanding doing things different back the way our cultures did in Africa, until we and instead of us being separate and learning the culture, because in Africa they had extended families, so you didn't have to worry about, you don't worry about a lot of abuse and molestations and stuff because the family was there. The families, the dads, the mom, the grandmas, the grandparents, everybody was. It was a community. The community watched out for each other, and that's what they took away from us. They taught our men how to be breeders, so our men lost that. But in the 60s they got it back, which the great, the men of the 60s, they had the one woman, they had the family. And then what happened? They took the jobs. They always got their hands in destroying black folk. Always. Don't ever forget, it's always to destroy you, black folk. They took the jobs and then they offered the woman EBT. And then the woman took it and then the man got mad, but her plate was empty. Her table was bare because they took the jobs away from the woman. I mean, from the man. And then they turned around and gave you something. And then you looked at the man, you got mad because he didn't have a job. But they doing what they did now. They took the jobs. They did that on purpose. But instead of the churches coming together and say, hey, let's teach the men what to do, the churches saw. Why didn't you have family training? Why didn't you teach the men how to create their own businesses and come together and support one another? That's what the churches was there for. But they didn't do what they were supposed to do. You had leaders like MLK, who's Boulay, who came and said, oh, came up with white folk, and they came up with him and they said, hey, this is what we're going to do. Black folk got all that money. We're going to take the jobs. We're going to take the businesses. We're going to separate the families. We're going to they had all this planning. They knew what it was going to cost us for our fathers to be out of the homes. They knew that. But we didn't understand. We don't understand how devils think. We don't think like them. Black folk, and we think totally different than them. We used to.
We
But
still
now
do.
we
would defend
think a lot
ourselves.
more like them now. If you're really honest, you got a whole lot of Boulets that think just like white folk, right? You still got half and half. A lot of black folk think, like us, but you got a lot of them like Candace. You know what I'm saying? Roland Martins. You got a lot of them that think like them. That'll
But
call. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
no, I was about to say, you know why I say that though? Because like they know, like they spend the money to defend themselves, but like the black folks will say like we shouldn't defend. If we thought like them, we would defend ourselves. We would be like, let's go for the resource. Let's take over Europe. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah, but we will.
like,
We'll say that against each other. Let's go take
yeah,
over.
against
You step on
facts.
my toe, I'm gonna kill you. We
Yeah,
do think like
facts.
them. They taught you how. But I looked at only, and I remember I see another comment. He said, "My fiance has a good dad." I see that, but he's gonna have to get with the dad or watch the dad because she used to the dad. He's gonna have to mimic the dad because she's holding him at a high standard, especially if his dad took care of the family. His dad had it going on. She's looking for Oni to do the same thing. So he's got to mimic that dad.
You
Because
bet-
the
yeah.
dad has showed her how. Her dad has showed she's got high standards for any man if her dad is still there. And if her dad is doing the right, did right by the family and was taking care of the family. And, maybe the mom worked, but you know what I'm saying? Or part-time or, worked sometime, but not, full-time or whatever. She's got high standards for him. So he's going to have to, watch that dad and mimic him, unfortunately. Because he taught her very well on what to expect from a husband.
Yeah, he definitely gonna have to step up to the plate.
Oh yeah, he gonna have to, and he gonna be a fiance for long. You can't be a fiance indefinite. You got to get married. If that's who you want to, you can't be a fiance for 10 years.
All right. All right, so we're gonna go. I can't play all of her videos. Let me see.
And when we talk about unmet needs, we're not talking about food, clothing, and shelter. Because so often those are the things that we highlight as the things that our parents gave us and that we should be happy for.
You got a roof over your head. The lights is on, ain't it, boy?
And I am definitely very appreciative for food, clothing, shelter, education, exposure, safety, and all of those things. But we still have emotional needs. And I think because we think of them as being emotional, we think they're not needs, but they're wants. And we think of a need as something that keeps us alive. But I want you to think about a need as something that also brings value to your life. It's not that your mother wasn't the only person who didn't give these things to you. As an adult, you don't know how to give them to yourself. So when you're not patient with yourself, you become what? You become hypercritical. You become really judgmental. If you're not understanding of yourself, you think that you should get it right every time. You think you're stupid. You look at everybody else's perspective as being valid. If you don't have grace with yourself, again, this plays into this pressure that we put on ourselves to perform. And we don't
But
trust
hold on, Cass.
ourselves.
Where did it come from, though? Let's talk about that. I understand what she's saying, but it came from somewhere. You didn't just create that overnight. That 9 times out of 10, it came from childhood. 9 times out of 10. But go ahead.
No, yeah, you're right. You're right. And I skipped over it. She mentioned it because she said, and it's not your fault. She's just saying as an adult, like it's time for you to like take
To do the work.
accountability for yourself, you know.
Yes, absolutely.
that
I
was my
totally
fault.
agree. Absolutely. Because we can change it anytime we want to. It's up to us. Even if we had crappy childhoods, what adult life do you want? You go after that. Even if you have a mentor, because I think having mentors work, because mentors are exposing you to things you never knew or you never had. So you look at that mentor and you be like, oh my God, how'd you get that? How do I get one of them? And you mimic the mentor, the positive mentor. That's why I believe that we need to have mentorships for males and females. We need we need these organizations around here that has the debutantes or the mentorships, not even the debutante. I'm just saying, so the behavior, to help you to be exposed to new lives, to be exposed to traveling, to be exposed to other things that you were never exposed to. So that therefore you can know that you can have that. But if you're never exposed to anything different, for instance, if you grew up and you were a child that slept in a closet, when you go to a friend's house and you see they have a bed, you be like, oh my God, you got a bed. Where you get that from? I want one of them. Then you go home and say, why do I have a bed? I'm going to get me a bed. You understand? So you were exposed to something new. So now you expect something different. But if you're never exposed to anything new, then you'll continue on that project life. The granddaughter lived, the grandmama lived in a project, the mama lived in a project, now the daughter in the project, now the because you weren't exposed to anything new. I'll rest my mic.
No, yeah, that's all facts, that's all facts. All right, and so this sister is saying 3 ways to begin.
So let's jump right in. You want to know how to start this process of healing from the painful and toxic relationship with your mother, right? You're like, where do I begin? It's so much, it's so overwhelming, and I totally get it. So I have a very simple way for you to get started doing this. And so that's what we're going to talk about today. You ready? Okay. To understand how they feel, to get their mother's approval to go through this process, to get their, how do I make my mother understand how she hurt me? My mother won't admit that she's wrong. And that becomes the whole thing. You think that in order for me to heal, I somehow, that it's about my mother. It's about her. It's about her acknowledging it, because that's the only way I can let go of the pain is if she acknowledges that the pain is real. And what I want to tell you is that ain't the way to go, sis.
Nope. Exactly.
You have to make this about you. That is the overarching way to heal from this process, because having a Black mother wound is all about having a lack of autonomy, physical, mental, and emotional autonomy. And you know who has the autonomy over your life? Your mama. And that is why you are really obsessed with getting her buy-in or trying to understand why she did what she did, and how to get her to change. And maybe we can do this together, and all of those things like that, because you centering how you feel and you giving yourself permission and authority over your own emotions is something that's very new to you, right? So healing really isn't about your mother. It has nothing to do with her, whether she's alive or dead, whether you have contact or no contact, if you live with her in the house or not. It is about you becoming centered in yourself, right? Which is something that you've never had the opportunity to do. So overarching, where you begin is centering yourself, because the relationship that needs to be healed is not the relationship between you and your mother. It is between you and you. That is the relationship that is broken. And that is the only relationship that you have any control over. So we're going to go over, how do you rebuild or even sometimes build a relationship with yourself, because it's maybe something that you don't have, or how do you build a healthy relationship with yourself? Because up until this point, it's been a very toxic relationship with yourself. Yes, ma'am, you have turned into your mother when it comes to how you treat yourself. And you know that that's true. Okay. So I have a couple notes to feel it. You have to go through that grieving process. And I know nobody wants to do that, but it's so powerful and so healing in and of itself. So it's really you taking the time to feel what you feel. Journaling is a great way to do that, because you can just get your feelings out. They don't have to be edited. Getting into therapy, having a coach, someone like me, where you can have a safe space, right, to feel everything that you're feeling, the frustration, the sadness, the loss, the rage, all of those things, those feelings that the little girl in you has been holding inside and pent up, right? So that is the first thing, is to acknowledge your own emotions. The next thing I want you to be looking to do is practicing extreme kindness, compassion, and patience with yourself. These are things that you probably didn't get from your mother, but you have to learn to give to yourself. Because if you think of someone who is physically injured, right, when they're recovering, they need an environment that is conducive to healing. It needs to be soft. It needs to be tender. All of those things you need to be giving to yourself. You need a powerful spiritual practice. You need to be doing yoga and meditation and journaling and being out in nature and moving your body, participating in activities that are fun. Okay. That is all a part of self-care, doing things that feel good to you. You learning what feels good to me. What do I like? What do I not like? How do I get involved in those things? Right. This is a part of centering yourself and being good to yourself. We want our mothers to be good to us, because then it feels like now I have permission to be good to me, because Black girls are the most obedient, right? And we're waiting on our mother to give it to us, but she's not going to give it to you. You have to give it to yourself, right? Extreme compassion, extreme patience. When you're going through things, all of that hypercriticalness, all that hyper independence, that has to go, right? Which leads us into the next piece, creating a loving support system. We want our mother to be everything to us. We want her to be the person that, whose arms we can fall into. And if we can't fall into her arms, we think there's no arms for us. And that's a lie. There are millions of arms waiting for you. There's so much support, so much love, but now it's our job to learn how to cultivate the relationships that are supportive to us, relationships that enrich us and that build us up, ones that we don't have to.
All right, so yeah, Cassidra, what you think about it? Was you've been saying most of what she's been saying all night, but what you think about what this sister is saying?
I'm agreeing. When she said centering yourself, I think people need to understand more about what that means. But I totally agree with what she's saying. I mean, I did most of it, and you have to do that.
What do you mean centering yourself?
I'm sorry?
I said, what do you mean centering yourself?
Well, she mentioned centering yourself for her, but that's what she has to go into more details, because people, it's like, centering yourself, what do you mean? I don't even know what that meant, as far as what she was saying, centering yourself. I'm like, what does that mean? Talk to me, not in that therapy, break it down so I understand what you mean. How do I start to center myself? And for me, like she said, it wasn't about forgiving. It was just about me becoming who I wanted to be. It was about, I tried the letters. I tried to write the letters. I tried to, communicate. I tried to talk about it. But you can't make people want to remember. You can't make people, want to change. This is a personal choice on what kind of life you live. You're up to what kind of life you have. It's up to you what kind of life you live. It's up to nobody else. So you either want to walk in that and hold on to it, or you want to be free, and you want to be free of that person. And sometimes it is walking away from family members. It may be you moving away from family members because family members will treat you just like your mom or just like your dad treated you, plain and simple. You have to have boundaries for everybody, even family members that'll come to you, later and act crazy. You set them in their place. I don't care if they older people. You sometimes have to set them in their places. You have to be in charge of your life, and it's your life to live. And if somebody don't know how to treat you, you delete or you get away from them. Period. You have boundaries. Period. That's what it's all about, boundaries. But I totally agree with what she said.
Yeah, facts. All right. So to close out, we're gonna talk about something positive, I guess. Let me see.
What did you think about what she was saying, forecast?
I think that what she was saying is facts, because number one, like you've been saying all night, like the therapy thing, you know what I'm saying? But also like when you healing from you, like I think when she was like saying center yourself, I think that meant like taking what is for your peace and your happiness into account. And I agree to a certain extent, because I'm like, yo, black people, like, yo, that's whatever. But like we all individually got to take ourselves into account, and three things that she like the things that she was mentioning about healing from like your parents, like, yeah, you have to, number one, know it's not your fault per se. And even though what they're going through, it probably got passed down onto you. But now as an adult, it is up to you to like care about yourself, stop being super critical of yourself, like saying, oh, this ain't good enough, I'm not good enough, or I'm ugly, or I'm all of these things. And unfortunately, a lot of us black people, like if you give a compliment to a woman, she would not feel that way, you know what I'm saying? Like she, like, because of the parenting, you'll be surprised at how many parents would tell their child, like, oh, you're this, you're that. Like I knew a woman who would tell their son, like, oh, you're fat and all that, like call them like fat ass, and like it's a joke and stuff like that. But I'm like, yo, like that's crazy to me, And I know that when he grows up, he's gonna be like one of those kind of dudes that probably, seek validation through women and all that stuff, and do all of that. But because I think this applies to boys too, you know what I'm saying? Like as far as like not telling yourself, like, you know, being real with yourself, you know, and it's okay to feel the way that you feel, you know what I'm saying? But also knowing that your feelings and your emotions are like valid, you know what I'm saying? Like that you're not crazy, that you don't have to go seek approval because what you think is good enough and everybody else's thoughts, you know what I'm saying, are their thoughts, and you don't have to cater to what everybody else thinks to approve, to feel fit in or feel that you're liked, you know what I'm saying? Because it's most important to like yourself, you know. Yeah, what you think though about what I just said?
I totally agree. Everything you said, I totally agree.
Mm-hmm.
I totally agree.
So all right, something positive to end it, Cassidra, I want to show you this. She's talking about she found some land here.
We go to Facebook Marketplace and we look for these kinds of things, or they show up in our feed. Sometimes you don't even look for them, they just show up in the feed. Okay, so here is the listing on Facebook Marketplace.
Picture this. You're sitting at home alone.
My bad.
Let's get to that first. Let me make sure everything is showing up the way it should be. Price. Absolutely it is. Going on with this one, it says, a very unique property, mostly cleared, lots of paved road frontage, has an old concrete wall left from a cotton warehouse. This is a bargain price. Absolutely it is.
7.4 acres of land for $15,000.
7.4 acres. 7.4 acres.
Now, I will say you do have to look at other things like the soil and all that other stuff, but you can make it work if you really wanted to.
Oh, absolutely. You know what, Forecast? You can also go into buying land taxes. You can get like pay $5,000 for land. Seriously, taxes. People owe taxes on land. You can get land $500. Seriously, $15,000 is too much. I will go in if I wanted to buy land in America, which I choose not to. I choose to buy it in other places. I'm not going to purchase land, but I understand some people are staying here and they feel like they have to. But you can get it deed through taxes. You know, people that haven't paid and you can get land for $1,500. You can get land for $2,000. You know, so that's where I would start. I would get the tax. And this is sometimes land that has been left to like older people who have died and they didn't have kids, and you pay their taxes, and that's your land. Okay, yeah. So that's just another way to get it cheaper. Because I don't, do you have $15,000 for some land? Everybody don't have $15,000 cash, and that's usually what they'll have to do. Because with us, banks ain't gonna give us no loan for no, But I'm just saying you can try, but I would go and get it as far as deeded land through taxes. Okay.
Yeah, no, definitely. That's why, and that's why I wanted, because you're good with business stuff. Yeah, you're talking about the tax lanes where if you look up, you can look up like properties that's like all you have to do is pay like what is owed, and then you own the property and stuff like that.
Exactly. You pay what's owed, and if it's $1,500 owed, you pay $1,500, and that's your land.
Yeah. Yeah. Facts. But I'm gonna play a little bit more just because we don't have because we did make a couple $1 million to get to give East Indian lady. So
we have a lot on
totally go ahead.
Our plate. So I can't even look at this sideways right now. But this is an excellent deal for somebody.
This because I thought it was one that said something about black farmers on there, but anyway, well, you basically made the point that I was trying to make though, consider a better way to make it happen, because I wanted to say something positive,
Oh God, she's positive, if you want to live in America, hey, no, and she's good, they do have land that's out there, some you can get it 10,000, 15,000, but I'm just trying to come up with another cheaper way of getting land. I believe in saving, as much money as I can. If I can get a better deal. Just wanted to let people know that there are other places like deeds and going through your city. Say you want to get some land in Virginia, in Richmond, you go to the counties, you go to the deeds, and you can also register for the auction, the tax liens on land, and you can get land, and it's a lot of land. You can get land for $500 in Virginia. I've seen it, just depending on where you want to live. You can get land for $1,000. It's but 15,000 for a lot of us, it might be a little high, but even just to have that land for 15,000, when you get your taxes, taxes is coming up, you guys. Go and start looking now and buy that land, even if you got to put a camper on it for now, RV on it for now. That's your land, that's yours. And how much you got to pay for an RV on some land, come on. It's so many ways of doing this, for you to get out of those apartments. I wouldn't pay anybody an apartment at $1,200, $1,500 for an apartment. I wouldn't do it. Exactly. I swear I wouldn't. I'd go rent me an RV, honey. If it's just you and your wife, or you and your husband, you and your kid, you just got one kid, you can go rent an RV and put it in an RV park for a minute. I'm serious. Just until you can get on your feet. People don't think about that. They'd rather be outside. No, go get your butt rent an RV. And RVs are what, $300, $400, $500 sometimes. Park that thing in one of them summer camp things for a minute. There's so many ways of beating this system. It really is. Right. But I rest my mic.
No, you're right. That's a good one, though. Yeah, no, you're right. And the problem is doing good stuff is like a rarity. But no, it's like we were saying, how, because when we was talking about this stuff in Lawrence County, Alabama, when we were talking about, how cheap land is out there. And putting our resources together, what I'm saying? Because if you wanted land for a school or whatever it is that we're talking about, how easy it would be if we would put our money together. And we can't say excuses no more because we raised millions of dollars, what I'm saying? We could do that in hours, you know what I mean? So for people who say that, it's opportunities. I just was playing that one. But it's definitely opportunities out there, like Cassidra was talking about with the tax liens and all that stuff. And that's why I wanted Cassidra to come on, and we talk about, because she's definitely a beast with all of that, teaching about business. She's definitely better than I am all day. But we'll end it.
Even with that, let me just say one thing. Even with that forecast, even with that 7,000, 7 acres? How many acres was it? 7 acres?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was 7.2 or something like that.
But even with that, if you have 15,000, you can sell each acre. You can get 10,000 per acre. You can do 5,000 per acre. And how much money did you just recoup from selling an acre to somebody that don't have a lot of money? You could sell an acre for $3,000. 3 times 7 is what, $21,000. I'm just saying that you just doubled your money. So it can be done. You can buy that 15,000 and you can split that land up or an acre and just have like-minded people that put them little module in that house or, some a tent if you want to. I'm just saying, but you've just tripled your money. If you sell it for $5,000 per acre, you still 5 times 7 is what? 40. Come on, 35. Come on, you just made $35,000 right there. So it can be done. That's another way of investing. That's making money.
Right, exactly.
That'll be worth it. Anybody want to buy some land, go ahead and do it. And just split that land up and sell it piece by piece by piece. That's how you can do an investment. And that's how you can grow your wealth.
Yeah,
that's free. That was free. Okay, I'm going to charge you for that. That was free.
Fact, y'all better be writing it down. I ain't going to cry. All right, so we got to end it with good Black parenting, a great Black mother doing her thing, teaching her young daughter how to handle things.
Don't you snatch that from her. Don't do that again. Yeah, knock it down. Tear it up. Yep, and step on it. And Karen's just going to have to deal with it. Yep, knock all of it down. Good girl. Very good, Naoki. And grab it and tear it up. Oh, well. Tear it up again. Don't put your hands on her.
I better not put her hands on her.
Ooh, I love it. You know how many boy, them crackers got mad about that, didn't they? You had some black folk had nerves to get mad. I said, y'all so stupid. I love it. I love it. That's the best part of it right there.
This is how you be a black mother right here. This is black mothering all day.
Yeah.
Well,
all right, so that's black mothering right there all day.
I love it.
Yeah, but no, this one was definitely a good one considering. I appreciate you for real. Like you was on fire again.
It was good being here, to share. This is why we do these shows. We want to be real as we can with people to help them to understand. This happens all the time. It's not, just in a book. This happens. We live some of this stuff, but so we have to be able to be so raw and real with our own so maybe that testimony will help somebody to deal with their stuff. If you want healing, go for it. Don't just sit up there and see that you have a behavior issue or see that you have a something that's stopping you on your job, especially from getting promoted, and you just continue that behavior and you've gotten fired by every job you've been there. Yes, it could be racism, but it can also be that you need a little tweaking also, okay, so that you can become the best you, not for them, but for yourself, so that you can open up more doors and more opportunities. So yes, these conversations are so important in our neighborhood, so that we can put light on this stuff, so that we can be healed up, because we need some healing, so that we can live on those 7 acres in peace with each other, like-minded people growing and coming together and building. It's going to take us coming together doing this thing. They're not going to do it for us. You can vote Kamala Harris. You can vote Trump. Ain't nobody going to free black folk the way we can free black folk, the right black folk. I'm not talking about just anybody. I'm talking about black folk. You got 2 different types. We want the ones that's B1 that has a heart for black people. That's who we want to be in business with. That's who we want to live around. That's who we want to grow around. That's who we want to be, come together with. Not just any black person. And with that, thank you for this opportunity, and I rest my mic.
No, yeah, all facts. You was going in the whole time. I appreciate you, and I definitely appreciate you for everything that you willing to like talk about and share. Because I know a lot of people wouldn't do that. But I think that somebody will hear it and it'll help somebody. So, and I really appreciate you for doing that.
And I hope it does help somebody.
Yeah,
we go through for other people, not just for ourselves. So I don't have nothing to be ashamed about. Nothing.
Yeah, that's all facts right there. Nothing, and you have hella wisdom. So I definitely appreciate you coming on to share all of your wisdom that you got, because I learned a lot from you. So I appreciate you. Shouts out to Oni, who was in the building. Shouts out to Raw. Shouts out to MD2, who was in the building. Bakari was in the building. Jermaine Thompson. Everybody else. Shouts out to CassidraCheek, Realm in the Bush. Y'all support her organization. She's out there like doing stuff for real. So y'all do that. And y'all go get therapy so we don't really be doomed. You know what I'm saying? Lord have mercy.
Lord have mercy, huh?
So yeah, man, y'all go get therapy, man. We doomed out here. But I appreciate all of y'all for listening. And as always, man, we have got to start standing for something, or we're gonna keep falling for anything.
Peace, family.